I'm Jeff Majors. I'm the lead level designer on Jedi Fallen Order.
My name is Aaron Contreras, and I'm the narrative lead for Jedi Fallen Order.
When approaching level design, we just want to make a game that we want to play from an exploration perspective. I really like exploration games. I like retraversing in planets that you've been to before. We thought this sort of structure of game really fit nicely with kind of our core tenet of becoming a Jedi and this kind of hero's journey and growing as a character throughout the game. So when you're going through the game early, you're seeing you're blocked off from certain areas. You can't get everything, but as you gain new powers and abilities, Cal can now overcome obstacles that were previously preventing him from, exploring fully.
Yeah, it's certainly more complicated, and it made my job harder. But that's really where Jeff and I and our teams have really focused on collaborating in Fallen Order, is wedding this design that involves a lot of retraversal, a lot of secrets, a lot of gates, a lot of kind of exploring and really engaging with the world in order to get more reward out of it, with a traditional cinematic Star Wars story, and making those two things work together has been probably, for me, one of the most satisfying parts of working on this project. I think we have to be very careful about where we keep you from proceeding forward on the critical path and why. We're also very intentional at certain points about trying to nudge the player about, like, okay, maybe it's a good time to go explore or go back to a place you've been before. Maybe there's more secrets there. It's really informed how we do encounter design, how we do AI VO. So because you'll be kind of going back through these locations again, world states might change. The Empire might be there where they weren't there before. And that plays into the sort of dialogues you'll have. And you may have noticed there's optional conversations you can have with your crew members. So those sort of things kind of are part and parcel of giving the player the opportunity to sort of like just engage when they want to as they move through the world.
When we first started working on this game, we really started with the lightsaber first and foremost. Stig Asmussen, our game director, directed God of War 3. So our team had kind of this melee background and pedigree. And when we got the opportunity to work on a Star Wars game, we first thought of the lightsaber, of course. Like, it's kind of a game designer dream to make a lightsaber game. So that's where we started, and we really wanted to get that feeling right. And then at Respawn, we're really gameplay first in a lot of ways. Of course, this is a Star Wars game, authentic Star Wars story, so this narrative is extremely important. And we're also driven by that. But we really wanted it to feel really good to explore these levels and these planets. And part of that, I think, is player agency. Part of it's traversal on the sticks and it feeling really responsive, and then part of it is, a player kind of unraveling this world and these worlds. Going back to when we first started coming up with the lightsaber combat, we really wanted it to feel authentically like a lightsaber. So what that meant for us was killing a stormtrooper in one hit. So that's where we started. But in a melee game, it doesn't always feel the greatest to just mow through everyone with one hit, because you can feel too overpowered. So that's where kind of we bring in the block meter. So you can find windows of opportunities to take out an enemy with one hit, but also if you just kind of go in and swing your lightsaber, they've got counters to that. We also introduced a lot of creatures that have kind of thicker skin and kind of can narratively justify taking more hits. And the game's really about becoming a Jedi. So it's from starting from the bottom and building yourself up to become very powerful. But with that, you don't start as powerful as you're going to end up.
Yeah, Cal Kestis, our hero, is a protagonist. I'm sorry, he's a protagonist. Cal Kestis, our hero, was a Padawan who survived Order 66. He's not all the way there yet. He's not a master when the game opens. So this is really a hero's journey of somebody who's coming from a very, very rocky beginning. He's had a traumatic past. He's got a difficult relationship with the Force, which he has to overcome some challenges just with himself and his own belief throughout the course of the game. And that's kind of wedded into our gameplay story and our progression story as well. Sort of, as Cal grows in the story, the player grows, and Cal's abilities grow throughout the course of the game.
Building these planets is a super collaborative effort across the whole team, from concept art to narrative to level design to enemy design. So we really wanted to take kind of both planets that you've seen in other media, in other Star Wars properties, and also kind of carve out our own planets as well. And they both come with unique challenges and strengths. So working on a planet that exists before, it needs to feel authentic to what has happened before on that planet, and people have a certain sort of idea in mind. Whereas on the brand new planets, it's about doing something totally new, but making it feel authentic still within the universe. So that was a kind of a fun balancing act and doing kind of both of those.
So finding a space for Cal as a Jedi in sort of the pantheon of other Jedi, right? You have Luke Skywalker, Yoda, Qui-Gon, Rey. I mean, I can name them all, but I won't. It was more. It was less about power in the conversation. Obviously, power is a thing which is very specific to video games. You can write a character to do whatever you want in a movie, and then the next scene they can do something else. But in a game, you kind of give that agency into the player and have them realize that fantasy. So it's a little bit more of a intentional thing you're doing. It was really more about finding Cal's story and making him unique, if that makes sense. So what's his relationship with the Force? Where's he come from? Where's he going to? And as soon as we figured out what that arc was and had that resonate with people at Lucasfilm and on the team, we knew we were onto something special.